You're enjoying Racing World. It's brought to you by Perspective Group. It's your global motorsport podcast show brought to you in conjunction with Race Control Magazine.
Well, welcome back to our first edition of Racing World since the Indy 500 and GOG. Wasn't that a great race? You never would have picked Ericsson in many ways. He certainly wasn't in any of my sweepstakes, but congratulations to Marcus. Great run also at Detroit for Will Power, and now we're back at it at Road America. But before we get to that, I'm going to have a little bit of a rant here, and it's about the success of Brendon Hartley today, taking out his third Le Mans 24-hour race. Not one, not two, but three. And he's done it with Porsche and Toyota. Now, credit New Zealand where credit's due. This guy is an athlete. Yes, he went to Formula One and it didn't quite work, but he is the real deal, and he has proven it. How many people do you know that have won the Le Mans 24-hour race 3 times? Of course, Earl Bamber, another Kiwi's up there as well. But Hartley deserves this recognition, as do all our motorsport people around the world right now. And I'm sick and tired of them being compared as just guys that drive cars. They are athletes, and they are worthy athletes, and they're as good as any other athlete there is out there. So come on, New Zealand, let's really recognise these guys. Brendon Hartley, great job. Your third 24-hour race at Le Mans. So first up at Road America, and it was the Road to Indy Series USF 2000, featuring the 2 Kiwis that we featured recently on the show, Jacob Douglas and Billy Fraser. Now I'm going to have a continuation of my rant here. These guys need your support, and they need the recognition as well. This is a tough gig that they're in, and don't underestimate how tough the competition is. There's a 20+ car field in USF 2000, and each one of those kids is there with a mission to prove, and our 2 Kiwi boys are doing it very well. Don't forget, Billy's in his 2nd year now in USF 2000, Jacob's in his 1st. He had a little bit of karting, a little bit of Formula Ford, a small run in TRS in New Zealand, and then USF 4, but this is the real full onslaught for Jacob, and you must remember how tough this is, so credit to both of them. Mixed weekend for them both, but they had a great race too in many ways. Billy not having a good race, but at the end of the day they came away with points and they finished midfield, so very impressive for them, and good on them, I say. Onwards then to the Indy Lights Series 2, which is now part of IndyCar itself as opposed to the Road to Indy, but as far as we're concerned, it's still part of Road to Indy. Hunter McElrea in there. Hunter qualifying on the front row in his Andretti Autosport entry and then backing it up with a podium position. This, again, is Hunter on the move in this championship. He can do it. As we've said, he's capable of doing it, and he will do it. It is just a matter of time. So great performance from him, and we were able to catch up with Hunter at the post-race press conference.
Firstly, really happy for the team, 1, 2, 3. I think we, as a driver lineup, have a very strong lineup. Obviously, I think we all probably, without sounding like, cocky or whatever, I think all 4 of us are championship level drivers, you could argue, or you could make a good argument for it anyway. But no, it's great to get 1, 2, 3 for the team. They gave us a great package this weekend. But yeah, my race was not the smoothest, honestly. I got smashed up the rear by Frost in turn 3, so I almost ended up in the gravel off the start, and then those guys were gone. So yeah, I kind of was in my own race. I knew Linus was behind, being quite aggressive on the button, and kind of got me the toe range, and then I gave him a few mistakes to stay close to me, but we had a few little fun battles, but then I kind of cleared out at the end. I knew we had a bit more pace than him, so overall I think, especially if you look how crazy the year's been, it's nice to find some consistency.
Onwards now to the big cars in IndyCar, but before we get there, let's just tidy up a few of the rumour mills and a few of the will they, won't theys. And of course, the thing that we do know now, Alexander Rossi, who was the pole sitter here at Road America, is signed for Arrow McLaren SP for next year. That was kind of almost out there, but not quite, but that's official and was made official the weekend of Detroit. Replacing him at Andretti Autosport will be Kyle Kirkwood, returning to Andretti Autosport, where he won his Indy Lights title. And have a look at this little piece of footage which we took at Indy, where he was chatting with team manager Kiwi Paul Ziggy Harkis. Now this was before the announcement, but boy oh boy, don't they look cozy there. So clearly things were pretty well close to being done. Where's that leave Foyt? Foyt is testing multiple people this week on the Indianapolis road course. I don't know who they are, but they're in a driver search campaign, so that's taking place this week. So that's another part of the puzzle. Then, where will Felix Rosenqvist end up? Will he end up staying at McLaren, or will he go, as a rumour is suggesting at the moment, to McLaren's new Formula E team? That would be a waste. He's been to Formula E. He doesn't need to go back there. He deserves a seat in IndyCar. So let's hope someone has the common sense to sign Felix because he belongs there. That is for sure. And his team manager or his driver manager, Stefan Johansson, the very same person that looks after Kiwi Scott Dixon. Now, on to Dixon, of course. Now, this is a rumour, and I'm not going to quantify it by saying that I know that it's true, because I don't. But it's a rumour that's been floating around, and I've heard it from multiple sources now, so it's going to be one to watch. And that is, will Dixon stay at Ganassi? There's a little bit of a talk, the fact that Dixon may be in line or may want that third seat at McLaren, or even an ownership of the team as well. Now, Zach Brown's never one to turn down cash. Is this a move for Dixon? I don't know. I think that he'd probably stay at Ganassi for the rest of his career. He's been there for the majority of it. It would just be like a divorce gone really bad if he was to leave Ganassi's. Of course, he could do that because it may be something for him to say that he drove for a team that has New Zealand heritage in it. But I think the tie-up between Chip and all his drivers is stronger than most people know, and there's a common bond there, so I can't see much truth to that rumour. But it is a rumour and it is out there. Then returning at Road America and for several other races this year, Simona De Silestre is part of the Beth Perena Autosport team in conjunction this time with Ed Carpenter Racing. So it was kind of an Ed Carpenter silhouette car that they had going. But Simona returning to the series, she's a bit of a fan favourite. 7 years actually since she raced on a road course event other than her attempt and qualifying for the Indy 500 last year. It's been a 7-year break for Simona in this type of car. So it was a big ask. But I asked her at the press conference that was held on Friday just how difficult that was.
Take one from David Turner, then Jack, I know you got a question. David, go ahead, sir.
Hey, thanks very much, Dave. Simona, just a very quick question. By comparison to last year when you came back with Beth to do the 500 and now coming back to do a road course event, what different challenges are you facing this time round by comparison to obviously, what Indy brings?
Yeah, Indy, because you have so much practice, you really can kind of take a little bit of time and kind of getting up to speed. And I think the big thing is as well physically, on the oval, it's not as bad as on a road course. On a road course, you really have a lot of input in the car. There's a lot of G's and stuff like that. It's a bit more tiring. Like today, I was quite tired after the session. So those are aspects that are a bit different. As well, not having a test day before or anything. Right now, it's the first time I'm working with my engineer, John. We need to learn how to work together. He needs to kind of feel what I kind of want in the car. I need to be able to communicate. So we kind of on a really fast process. I'm trying to, push the car to the limit. So there's just a lot going on, like today and tomorrow during practice, just getting there where we should be. So from that point of view, I think, that's a bit the difficulty, because you don't have this time to kind of, take your time a little bit. You just don't have it right now this weekend.
With two former supercar drivers, you and McLaughlin in the race, you'll be able to give McLaughlin a bit of a hurry up anyway. So wish you all the best.
Thank you. Will do.
Thanks,
David. Thanks for checking in. Jack, go ahead.
Onwards now to the race, and it was Rossi that dominated the Friday practice. He dominated Saturday qualifying, and it was kind of odds-on favourite for the race. It was a real resurgence in form from Alexander Rossi, and it was kind of long overdue, even though the marriage is obviously over now. Joseph Newgarden up there on the front row as well, and of course Alex Palou. So what happened in the race? Well, there was drama right from the beginning. The big victim in all of that was Alex Palou just running too close to his teammate, put it down to a racing incident. But of course, the last thing you ever want to do is hit your teammate. Jimmy Johnson went off early with a bit of an altercation with Tatiana Calderon. Again, this is just about reading the race and a little bit of impatience early on. Then one of the big things that happened in the race in my eyes was Devlin DeFrancesco hitting Will Power. Now, I'm going to be critical here because this is the second time this driver has been involved in an accident this year. Once on the oval at Texas where he came up against Elio Castro-Neves, and that was an unforced error on behalf of Devlin, and then again today. Now, I just feel slightly critical here of the fact that is this driver really capable of being in this series right now, or maybe some more Indy Lights racing would have done him good, or is Michael Andretti taking this for the sake of the fact that the bill's being paid? Please don't take it any other way. I'm not being critical of them, but it's just one of those things where driver has to respect what's going on, and maybe things are just happening too quickly. I don't know. He seems like a really nice guy. I don't know him personally, so let's hope things play themselves out. They were the main parts of the race. Rossi fell behind. Never really got back into it. There was a bit of movement with Rosenquist and things like that. Dixon and McLaughlin had pretty average races. Dixon starting 9th, finishing 9th. McLaughlin starting just in front of Dixon and finishing just in front of Dixon, really. So overall, it was a pretty average sort of race, really. Big lap, 4 miles, so nearly 7 kilometres once round, almost 2 minutes. So it's a very long lap at Road America. But at the end of the day, it was Joseph Newgarden that took out the win, and he also took out a $1 million US bonus for winning on an oval, a street course, and a permanent road course. Now that million was split 4 ways against 2 charities, Newgarden and Team Penske. But boy, oh boy, that was a big thing, and it's probably the first time that someone's actually done that in a very long time. Overall, I think that the teams will be looking forward to a 2-week break now before they hit mid-Ohio and really the second part of the season. This is where the championship will be decided. The field has compressed itself a lot. Some of that due to the double points at Indy, which, as you well know, I'm not a fan of. But what it's done is it's mean that this championship really kicks off when these teams get back. You have to be strong for all the remaining races, or it's going to get away from you. And at this stage, very hard to pick. Big dent for Alex Palou today, obviously, in the points battle. Will Powell's back in amongst there. Ericsson's got the lead back. Dixon and McLaughlin, particularly, have got to really resurrect their seasons when they come back starting at Mid-Ohio, which has always been a Dixon track. Anyway, we got the chance to catch up with Joseph Newgarden at the post-race press conference. Here's what he had to say.
It's a great day. Yeah. Great day. Felt really good going into it. Felt like we had a car to win today. And, it was just about executing. My team really put me in position on that first stop. Yep. Rossi was not going to be easy to beat today. I felt like he was very strong. I felt like, we were a little bit better than him, but he was by no means going to be simple to go by. But that first stop is really what set the tone for us. Once we got in position, then it was about getting through the lap markers or the alternate strategy quicker than him, building the gap and then maintaining it. And I felt like, just felt like our PVG car was really hooked up and had everything we needed from Team Chevy on the power side, pretty much as always this year. So really comfy, and to be able to win this $1 million and give half of it to charity is very cool, very cool. I'm sure our recipients are going to be thrilled with that.
As always, a big thanks to everyone at IndyCar for helping me out getting these post-race interviews. And first up, of course, it was one of the Kiwis in 7th place today, Scott McLaughlin. Probably not the points that he would have wanted, but again, he was still inside the top 10, and these are things that are going to count and are going to pay off later in the championship season, that's for sure.
Overall, pretty good day for the Solcio Chevy. We started 8th, we finished 7th, nearly got 6th on the line. We've been chasing the setup all weekend, but it's a solid points day for us in 7th, and we'll just keep building from there. So, on to Mid-Ohio, a couple of weeks off, and we'll be okay.
Then behind McLaughlin in 9th place is Scott Dixon. Started 9th, finished 9th, and really I kind of hoped that there was going to be better things for Dixon. He needs to get this championship back in his grasp, and he needs to do it soon. And today probably wasn't a great example. But anyway, we caught up with Dixon, and here's what he had to say.
Pretty average day, just really went nowhere. We tried to go really trim and didn't pay off, so a couple of times we were really fast down the straight, but then the problem was getting through the corners and braking. So strategy, we just kind of didn't go too crazy, and it kind of put us in that position. So unfortunately started 9th, finished 9th. Lost a few points today. I think we're 60 something back now, but kudos to Marcus and the 8 car, so they did a hell of a job and got a good points day for them.
Then in 11th place, Callum Eilert returning to the series, doing a fantastic job for Junkos Hollinger Racing. Now don't forget, this is a one-car team. They're not sharing any data as such with anyone else. They're there doing their thing. And Ricardo Junkos has been there, of course, a few years ago when Kyle Kaiser knocked out Fernando Alonso in that very dramatic bump day qualifying at the Indy 500. But it's great to see Callum Eilert there. He missed the last round. Santino Ferrucci filled in for him because he broke his wrist at Indy. But great to see him back in the car, and he's really proving that he's capable in this series.
Pretty good race. I mean, P11, after all that, pretty crazy race. We just kept it clean, kept it cool. A couple of things slowed us down in the beginning, but then we got the momentum, and to be fair, the pace was quite good. I think I could have probably pushed a bit more in some areas, but honestly, P11's a good result, good points for us, especially given being out for a week. Pretty happy with that. So yeah, we did a good job putting everything back together after quali, and thanks to all of you guys.
Directly behind Kellerman in 12th place, Simon Pagenaud. Now, I'm a fan of Simon and have been for quite a while. Great to see a good result for him for the Shank Racing organisation. I think Simon is a driver. He's very much a thinking driver. And, a 12th place is a good haul. It's probably, again, not what he would have wanted. Maybe wanted better, but it's good to see a good, solid result from Simon.
Yeah, we had a tough day today, especially me in the office. We had a very loose car, very, very difficult to complete the whole stint on the tires. So a bit disappointed we couldn't progress forward, but also we didn't regress in the standing in the end. So overall, it's okay. It's just not exactly the kind of race we wanted, certainly. But gotta look at some things. Certainly, we didn't expect the car to be this loose for the race.
And then teammate to Simon Pagenaud, Elio Castroneves, caught out near the end, brought out that last safety car period, finishing 22nd for Elio. But boy, oh boy, Indy was magic for him. That whole 5, or the run for 5, was just absolutely magic. And if he can do that during his career, man, we will have witnessed motorsport history, that's for sure. And I almost thought there was a chance. What let him down at Indy was qualifying. If he'd qualified higher, I'm sure he would have been there at the end. He proved that by the number of cars he passed. But unfortunately today, probably not the run that Elio was looking forward to.
Yeah, very difficult. Obviously, on the start, I got boxed in with another driver, so we lost a couple of spots there. And then I started to becoming a little more aggressive. Lost a few other spots, but in the end we just stayed there. The car was actually behaving well. The strategy was seemed to be okay with the red tires. By the end, I saw an opportunity and I dove inside to Sato, and unfortunately I was too aggressive and it was my bad. So not a good day for the 06, obviously, because we would be about the 15-16, and well, we gotta back up, move on to the next.
Now what that's done to the championship is it's put Ericsson back out in front on 293, Will Power slotting in behind him on 266, Newgarden, the Penske teammate, there on 261, Pato O'Ward, you can't count this boy out, 248, Alex Palau dropping to 246. This is where it gets really tight now. Dixon 224, Rossi 218, Rosenquist 208, and then McLaughlin 199 with Pagenaud just behind him in 197. So there is a lot to play for, and as I said, there's 2 weeks off now before we go to Mid-Ohio, traditionally a Dixon track, but Newgarden shone there as well. So you have to come back in the second part of the season and do really well. This points battle now is really, really tight. Don't forget it's 50 points for a win, bonus for laps led and qualifying, but you need all those points and you need them now. As I said, I think the teams are looking forward to a couple of weeks off. Obviously, Foyt are testing cars at IMS. Andretti are doing rebuilds on cars. The Herder car from Indy was completely written off, so the car rotation for them now and bringing cars back into play to cover that is a very big job. Speaking with Paul Harkis, they had a lot of work ahead of them to cycle those cars around to get them ready for oval and road course spec. And of course, we've got the doubleheader at Iowa coming up. Great little oval. Went there a few years ago. This time, though, we're going to have 2 races there, so that'll be a great thing. So there are some very, very good races to come. The return to the Toronto street race, and then that stretch at the end down the west coast with Portland and Laguna to round out the season. This championship is very much alive. Who will win the championship? I really, really don't know. What I do know is that IndyCar is still thriving. I was a little bit disappointed with the 500 this year. I have to admit that. There was something magic that just wasn't quite there. It was fantastic to see the crowds back. Thoroughly appreciated everything that went into it, but there just seemed to be a little piece of magic that was missing. So I hope that that returns. IndyCar needs to keep on top of its game right now. I'm still slightly anti the fact that the season finishes so early, but that's the run up against NFL, which is so strong in the US and so strong on television. So that is the logic behind it. But this championship, she's a cracker. And to all the people that drive in it, including our Kiwis from road to Indy, all the way through to IndyCar. There's 5 of them there. We should be very proud of them if you're a New Zealander and you're watching this. And if you're someone from overseas, well, I'm sorry, but I'm a bit biased towards our guys, and they are doing a great job, all of them. So until our next show on Racing World, when we reflect on the 500 next week, Take care, be safe, and enjoy your motorsport.